Hey everybody, this is Tia Butts, and I'm here in Toutsuite headquarters, and it's 5 o'clock, and you know what that means. It's 5 o'clock somewhere because it's 5 o'clock right here in Napa Valley, as well as I'm sure many other places around California at least. And tonight is Wine Wednesday, as you know. So I'm sure many of you out there who are tweeting on social media right now are following wine information, and so if you're on there now and you see us at Toot Social, then we want you to go ahead and tune in because we have an exciting show tonight where these are the hashtags we're going to be using. So if you have any questions for us during the show, use hashtag 5 o'clock. As you can see, it starts with the number 5, and then you spell out IVE. And then also you can tweet those questions to @Toutsuite, or Toot Social, @Toot hashtag 5 o'clock. Those are the things you need to remember for tonight because we have a great show lined up. It's kind of a bit of it's an all-girls night.
Oh, yes, it is.
It is, yes. It's ladies' night. In more ways than one. But we're going to be talking about how sexy wine is tonight because it's sexy not only in the vineyard, but it's also sexy in the glass. There's sexy wine terms, and of course there are many sexy pairings because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, right?
Yes.
So, and then of course when you have Valentine's Day, you have sweet things. And so sweet things made us think of the fact that, many of us are moms here, and many of you are out there as well. And Girl Scout cookies went on sale last week.
Yummy.
So as you can see, we have a great lineup here of Girl Scout cookies that we're going to do a little fun wine pairing with some of your favorites. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and kick things off, though, first in the vineyard, because we all know that wine begins in the vineyard. And we actually have our great friend, Remy Cohen, live with us on webcam. Remy is actually a committee member on the Napa Valley Grape Growers. And Remy is also the director of winemaking and vineyards at Cliff Levy Winery in Napa Valley. And I want you to prepare your questions because we're going to show a short film in which we learned a bit more about grape pruning. And so she'll be live and online ready to answer any other additional questions you have in just a moment. So enjoy and take a look.
Only the very best come here to compete in a test of skill and timing to earn the award of 2013 Grape Pruning Champion. Welcome to the 12th annual Napa Valley Pruning Contest. We're here in Behringer Vineyards, Gamble Ranch in Yountville, and I'm with Executive Director of the Napa Valley Grape Growers, Jennifer Kopp. Jennifer, I understand there are 45,000 wine grapes in Napa Valley that need to be pruned between approximately January and March every year. How important is pruning to ensuring a great bottle of wine?
Well, this is a really important time of year right now, and the way that these guys are setting these vines up for growth dictates how the entire growing season will be for them. I mean, it's not going to define the weather, of course, but it will define the balance of the vine, the productivity of it. If they're trying to correct some positioning, they can do that right now. If they're trying to train along any kind of certain trellis, they're doing that right now. So really the decisions that are made right now, they're looking out at harvest time and hoping to see the results then of what's being done now.
Well, I'm looking forward to some great wine then.
So am I.
As they say, safety first.
Nice.
Let's do it.
Okay, Tia. Well, pruning is one of the most important things that we do in the vineyard in order to achieve vine balance, meaning the balance between the vegetative and leaf production of the vine and the fruit production. So if we didn't prune, at the base of where every leaf was is a bud, a dormant bud, that in the spring will grow out and produce its own shoot with its own fruit. And so you could imagine that if we didn't prune this vine, there would be shoots and fruit growing all over the place, and it would be scattered, it would be hard to harvest, it wouldn't be uniform, it wouldn't ripen well. So what we do is we prune the vines to a certain number of buds so that the vines and the buds grow out with adequate vigor to support the fruit production.
Got it.
And this is a cordon. with spur positions. And often what we do per spur position is leave a 2-bud spur. So here's 1 bud, here's 2 buds, and we would make the cut here, slanting away from the bud so that if the wound bleeds, it bleeds off and doesn't bleed onto the dormant buds. We usually keep the lower spur. So we would take this entire large shoot off. And the idea here is to not let the spurs get too high over time. So we're constantly choosing the lower spur and making it a 1-2 bud spur.
Okay, Remy, so on this vine, this appears maybe to be the lower bud, right? So I see
Correct.
1 bud here, and it looks like 1 bud here.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah,
so I'm going to
very
cut here.
So you're already a professional.
All right. Success. And then this one can go entirely?
Can go entirely.
Excellent. So how close do you get? Is that about right?
Yeah, you want about a 1/2 inch, so that's good.
Okay. Excellent.
That's perfect.
Well, I'm not going to win any contests here today, but this is a great lesson nonetheless.
I'm really excited because I think that competition is really important for our company and prove like we can prune well. And I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm here to try to make the first place.
That's wonderful.
Segura con Spring Mountain.
Like any great competition, from wrestling to bull riding, you need a championship belt buckle. So our first place winner today, Alfredo Segura, is the lucky winner of this belt buckle. Tell us where you're from. What winery?
I come from Spring Mountain Vineyard here in San Helena.
And were you expecting to win?
Yeah, I think about a lot about this, and I try to get the first place.
That's
and
fantastic.
I have it.
That's fantastic. Well, we truly appreciate what you do, Alfredo, out there in
Thanks.
Vineyard, and all of the contestants today, because as we saw, there's so much more to pruning a vine. You have to understand the trellising system, you have to know how the winery wants to set their crop, help to prevent disease, and we truly commend all the great men and women out here that keep our vineyards healthy every day.
So as you can see, that was a lot of fun, but clearly I'm not going to go into grape pruning as my future career anytime soon. But luckily, Remy was like a great teacher. And Remy, thank you so much for showing me the ropes that day. You know, you and I were talking when we were in the vineyard, and I started doing some pruning. I did a couple more than what you saw on camera. But it occurred to me how therapeutic it was. I was out there, the weather was beautiful. And I thought, wow, how lucky are these guys to be out here every day, just, you know, working in the vines and, you know, sort of getting into this Zen zone, you know, that seemed was happening. I mean, is that the case for you as well?
It is definitely one of my favorite times of the year in the vineyard. First, because it's a regenerative time, so it's exciting to contemplate what happened the prior season and think about the plan for the coming year. And also, it's a really meditative practice because it requires some thought in terms of the selection of the buds that you're going to leave on the vine, but it's not really too complicated. So it's got a nice meditative, calming feel. And almost all of the rest of the year, we've got multiple things going on, whereas pretty much the entire winter we can focus on pruning.
That's great. We talked a little bit in the video about all the things that they need to take into consideration when pruning a vine. And I understand there are about 3 different types of, pruning based on the major trellising systems like cordon or head-trained vines and whatnot. Can you maybe talk us through that a little bit? And as you do, I'm going to once again remind people to, if you have any questions for Remy, she's only able to be with us for a little while, please go ahead and send your questions to @ToutSocial with the hashtag 5 o'clock, and we'll try to get those answered for you. So Remy, tell us about the different types of pruning.
Well, there's really infinite amounts of pruning and training systems. Vines being vines will grow randomly. And then what we do in the vineyard when we prune is almost kind of like bonsaiing a vine. So you can shape a vine and direct its growth in the ways that you want. I categorize the types of pruning by the origination of the fruiting wood. So do you have a head-trained vine where you just basically have a trunk that's the permanent wood? Or do you have what's called a cordon, where you have permanent wood that extends out along a wire, which is probably what you think of when you think of Napa Valley vines. They go up a stake and out along a fruiting wire, either a bilateral cordon, which is the most common, or a unilateral cordon. And then the second characterization is whether or not you're pruning as a spur, which you can do in either head-trained systems, and that's kind of that old school Zinfandel look, or in cordon systems, you usually train with spurs. But you can also train a long spur, which is called a cane, which we didn't show at the pruning contest. It's less common to do this, and it's a little bit more technical, but I like cane pruning as well. And you can cane prune on head-trained vines. And occasionally people will add a cane off of a cordon, but usually that's a remedial effort.
And the whole end point of this is quality, right? And disease prevention, and also light filtration on the vine to ensure great quality grapes, correct?
Exactly. So the whole idea is that pruning is one of the most important practices that we do in the vineyard that will help us create the vine balance, which is the balance between the vegetative growth of the vine and the fruit production of the vine. And so you want enough vegetative growth to ripen your fruit, but you don't want so much that you're shading your fruit and causing it to maybe get mold or not ripen properly. So it's all about the vine balance, and that starts at pruning.
Absolutely. Now, I just want to give a shout out because the Napa Valley grape growers were putting on this contest, and this was the 12th year that they had done this. And I think it's important to note that pruners get their education from vineyard managers. So, a lot of these guys, obviously they're farm workers, and we do have a farm worker foundation that helped educate about 2,500 farm workers, at least in Napa Valley anyway, last year. So they do everything from, learning English to tractor training to how to open a bank account, pruning best practices, managerial training, because sometimes they're also supervising other workers out in the field. And so it's a really, really important program. And I guess this year, I understand it, you expect to educate more than about 3,500 people.
Yes, we have several programs coming up, including visits to UC Davis campus, and we have several trainings that we offer through the Farm Worker Foundation, and you can find out more info about that on napagrowers.org.
Excellent, perfect. And I failed to introduce my co-host tonight, and so I'm going to do that really quickly because some of them might have questions. We have Sommelier Rachel Voorhees with us tonight, as well as Christine Trice with, oh my God, I so need a glass of wine or I'm going to sell my kids. And Delene, and I'm going to butcher Vollenweider, who we call the meat scientist, right? Is that the meat doctor?
The master of meat.
The master of meat.
The official title.
She's our resident chef on the panel here tonight. But did anybody else have any thoughts on pruning or anything that you saw or any questions?
I want to know. I do. I want to know what I'm sure there's a difference between young vines and older vines when you begin to prune them. And could you explain that to me?
So the youngest vines, you're basically training more than you are pruning for production, because it actually takes 2 to 4 years before you'll get any fruit off of a vine when you're training it for grape production. And so the first couple of years, you're training it up the stake, and you're training it out on the cordon wire if you are. And that you still will prune the vine because you want to not let basically you want to cut it back and have the vine focus on its roots in those early years rather than on the vegetative production, especially if you're in shallow soils or devigorating sites. So basically the first year you might not even make a trunk. You might want to cut it back to 2 bud spurs, let another trunk grow up the next year. So it takes a long process where you're training the vine up in the first few years, and really you don't get into normal pruning until year 3, 4, or 5.
I didn't realize it took that long. Wow, thank you. I'm new to grapevines.
Well, you should come to Cliff Lady and we can look at the vineyards.
I would love that. Thank you. I would love that.
That'd be a fun field trip.
Let's go, ladies.
Yeah, sounds good. I would love it. That would be fun. That's perfect. Good. Well, I really, really, truly thank the time that you gave to me and to Toutsuite, both today and last Friday. And thanks to the Napa Valley grape growers. And of course, most importantly, to all of our great vineyard workers out there who are keeping our vines healthy all the time.
They work very hard.
They do. They do. Did you have another question?
Well, no, I was just going to comment on the therapeutic aspect of
pruning
and harvest as well. I did some harvest work at Grapevine in the fall, and just picking those grapes, it was just like, when the sun was coming up, and I know the pruning is probably kind of that same therapeutic feeling as well. So
yeah. And I was like, I was tempted to start a craft too. There was all these, what do you do with all the grapevines that are left over? I kept thinking, man, I should weave myself a little wreath here,
Well, I can find some prunings for you if you want to make a wreath, but normally we cultivate them back into the soil, or you can chip the vines and use them as mulch around the property. And some people choose to burn, but that's become less popular because of air quality concerns. So chipping or cultivating them into the earth or making wreaths is a better strategy.
Yeah.
That's great. No, that's wonderful. And, we know that these are really expensive vines out there, frankly. So it's an important job, and it shouldn't be taken for granted, even though it seems relatively straightforward when you see it.
Yeah, I do have a question. So when it comes to the pruning process, we were talking about dormancy and how the pruning season is pretty much all winter long. How soon after harvest do you start to prune? Because I'm wondering what you do with the nice green leaves.
So we let the leaves senesce because that process, we're incorporating the nutrients from those leaves back into the vines. So the vines are naturally going to utilize the nutrients and the carbohydrates from the leaves before the leaves fall off, which is a term called senesce. And then, like many things that might seem simple, there's always a strategy involved. So you could really start pruning as soon as the vines are dormant and they've lost their leaf material. But there are canker diseases that enter vines during rainy season. So it's actually often best to delay pruning as much as possible, or make sure to prune in good weather, which we've had this year. So you might see people have pruned a lot more than they maybe would have at this time of the year on a normal year, but we've had such a dry and sunny January and February, so we've pruned earlier than usual. Another reason why you might want to prune late is for frost protection. So the later you prune, the later the vines will start growing, which will maybe eliminate some days of frost in that mid-March to end of April time period.
That's great.
That's
Thank
very
you.
interesting.
Yeah, really, really interesting. And, that actually makes me wonder, what do you think the crop looks like for the coming year? Because you said, we are having very little rain. Any sort of predictions you want to give us, or is it too early?
It's hard to say. What's nice about a year where you have less rainfall is that you have more input in California viticulture when you can plan your irrigations and plan your strategy accordingly rather than deal with what the rain brings you. So a dry year, even though it's not great for California as a whole, and having drought is not ideal for a viticulturist, if you do have access to water, it can actually be a better thing than a really wet year where you don't have as much control over vine vigor. So we'll see. We had a really incredible 2012. It was an uneventful growing season, which usually makes for a good vintage. Nice, steady weather, no major heat spikes, no early season rains. So we had a nice uneventful season. So let's hope for another one of those. Another 2012 would be great.
Exactly. Cheers to that. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Remy. We really appreciate your time. We know you've got a meeting and we're kind enough to step out and join us, but we really thank you. This was really great. And
Thanks for having me.
You taught us all a little bit more about grape pruning, which is so important. So thanks.
Great. I'd love to check back in with you maybe in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That would be great. And please, if you can't stay, we understand, because I know you mentioned that you had something going on, but if you can, we'd love for you to stay on. We're going to continue to talk about sexy wine. So as I said, from sexy vines, which we know our vines are now all, pruned up and trimmed and ready to go, we're going to move on to sexy wines, because we are exactly less than 24 hours from Valentine's Day at this point. And so, which is why we have in-house Rachel Voorhees. And Rachel, if you're not yet familiar with her, although I'm sure many of you are, is a certified certified sommelier that also is a freelance wine and food writer. And she works both writing for BevMo, Tasting Room, allparenting.com, and also is a social media maven for wine.com. Did I miss anything there?
I don't think so.
You're busy. You're very busy.
She is good, and she's a mom.
Yeah, and I'm a mom.
So she understands the benefits of a great bottle of wine, put it that way. And so I'd love to hear what you brought us here today. We have some cool stuff in our glass, so I turn the floor to you.
Well, the first thing I brought 3 different wines, bubbles, white, and red for Valentine's Day. My feeling is that it's fun to stay home for Valentine's Day sometimes. Maybe, cook a meal together and not go out to an expensive restaurant and break the bank. And so I have these wines that are all $40 and under.
Perfect.
That are, great. They're all great with food, and they're fun to drink, and they also pair really well with a lot of food. So, the first one I brought is Canard du Chêne. This is a Brut Rosé. And, it's sexy, it's classic, it's elegant. So why don't you take a sip and let me know what you think. It's pink.
Who doesn't love pink bubbles? It's bubbles.
Sparkly.
Beautiful.
So Canard du Chêne also makes a regular Brut, but for Valentine's Day, having the pink is extra fun for that extra color and stuff. So
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit where this comes from. It's a French product,
Yeah,
obviously.
so this is champagne, and that's the other thing.
It is champagne.
So Valentine's for Valentine's Day, since it is a special day, a special occasion, I like to go French, real champagne.
Yeah.
Any sparkling wine that's not made in the Champagne region of France is only considered sparkling wine. So this is a champagne. The Canard du Chêne house has been around since the late 1800s. They're not as well known as like a Veuve Clicquot or a Krug or Cristal, which are also tend to be a lot pricier.
Of course.
So this bottle is only $39.99, which is a great price to celebrate Valentine's Day. I love the strawberry notes in this, as well as it has a lot of minerality in it as well. It's got
really fine, delicate bubbles. If you know what that's like, just sort of that sea foamy quality, I guess, or just that little bit of nice spritz on your tongue that's not too overbearing. It's not like drinking a Coke. If you want context, everyone knows what it's like when you guzzle a soda, that's got all this carbonation that's kind of harsh and makes you want to burp afterwards.
Definitely not from the flavor.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it clears
so we
your
won't
palate
be belching the alphabet tonight. But but no. These are just beautiful.
Yeah. And this is a great aperitif to have. It's great with appetizers, a fruity kind of seafood type dip, I like to do a lot of seafood salads and endive spears. This would be beautiful with that, with some citrus and even some fruit that you could do as well for Valentine's Day. And it's just, and strawberries. And so then, which is moving me to dessert, you can also save this, save a little, have some at the beginning of the night and then save some for the end. And this would be great with like a strawberry shortcake or, a strawberry tart or anything like that that's creamy, delicious. The bubbles in this champagne will kind of cleanse your palate a little bit and get you ready for the next bite, so your mouth's not coated with anything super creamy. So that's why champagne's great. Champagne and sparkling wine are great for any meal, any course of a meal.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't know that, but you can drink it throughout the whole meal. So
absolutely. Firm believer. It's not hard to sell me. on bubbles.
Everybody loves bubbles.
Exactly.
Right? They just make me smile.
So remember, if you like bubbles too, tell us. We want to hear about it. You can also share your favorite bubbles for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, let's hear some.
Yeah, we want to hear your recommendations,
please.
right? So send it to @ToutSocial with the hashtag 5 o'clock, and we'll give you a shout out in your recommendation.
Because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5
That's
o'clock
right.
here.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere right now. Okay.
Okay, so let's move on to the white. This is Flowers Chardonnay from the Sonoma Coast, and it's extreme Sonoma Coast, so it's all the way out near the ocean. So you're going to get a lot of minerality and terroir in this wine from being all the way out there, and it's cooler out there as well.
Beautiful spot, like fog, just
I've never
covering
been there,
the
but I've
vineyards
seen
in the
pictures,
morning.
yeah.
Gorgeous spot. You can see the water. Beautiful.
So the reason that I love this wine, it's also attractive, sexy, but it's delicate. It's not that overbearing, creamy, coat your mouth Chardonnay that can sometimes also dominate food as well. So this is perfect. It will pair with a risotto, it's a creamy risotto, but also as light as a grilled white fish as well. So you can kind of have those two different contrasts. And I would love to hear any food pairings that you would suggest too.
Oh, I was just saying, because I get a hint of smokiness with this, just a light, and I know that's part of the minerality, but
And maybe the oak juice too.
And the
on it.
but it's not huge, and I
right, it's very subtle.
Yes,
and delicate.
I was just having dreams of halibut with
Ooh,
this.
Halibut.
I love
delicious.
a good halibut and just a very light cream sauce. And when I say almost like a beurre blanc, but it's lighter than that. And yes, I was.
What's nice about this flower Chardonnay is it's kind of got a a light to medium body to me. It's not super heavy and rich on your tongue, but it's also got a bit of creaminess still to it.
It's just a little bit.
Just a slight creaminess.
Without being
that
buttery.
gives it some elegance, I think, too. But then also that brightness in your mouth. Like at the end, there's a little,
Well, and that's the acidity.
Yeah.
So you can measure acid and acidity in a wine by kind of the length, and you kind of can stick your tongue out, and if your tongue's you have that salivating, mouth watering, that's acid.
Exactly.
And it has bright, refreshing, tons of acid, which also makes it super food friendly as well.
Exactly. So it's very balanced.
Very,
This is
very
what we would
balanced.
call very balanced, but absolutely,
Yeah,
it
very
tastes
balanced.
delicious. And what's the price point? You may have told us on that.
This is around 40 as well.
Very nice.
And did we give it the price point on the champagne?
Yeah,
I can't
this is
remember.
$39.99.
$39.99. Okay, great.
So.
Perfect. Excellent. So yeah, flowers. I know you're out there, flowers. You knew we were talking about you tonight. So if you have anything you want to add, just let us know. You know how to find us. All right.
So
should we go
moving on to the red.
And you know what I want to call out too? I don't know if you guys caught this as well, but this doesn't necessarily have a French name, but it is pink. This one is flowers, and who doesn't love flowers on Valentine's Day? I am a sucker, I will say, for flowers. Have cut flowers in my home at all times. And then
And then, of course,
we have
so,
monogamy.
and I wanted to have something, that's not as expensive as some of these might be, more expensive, but a lot of people have had this, monogamy. Yeah,
a lot of us have.
Yeah,
Some of us have ended the monogamy, and others haven't yet had monogamy, but it's okay.
They also have the accompanying promiscuous. It's a white wine.
And
They do have promiscuous.
So you can have monogamy, or you can be promiscuous.
Yeah, you can
We're
have
for
options
everyone.
open. It's okay.
I must admit,
I do have monogamy.
I saw the label and with the O in the middle, I read it as monogamy, and I was like,
no, it's not game.
Mono. That would be bad.
But then I looked at it again. I was like, oh no, okay, the eyes are playing tricks on my vocabulary, and I was like, it is monogamy.
So this is a favorite, and the price point you cannot beat. It's $12. You can get it almost anywhere. You can even get it at Target. So it's not like you have to go to some fancy wine shop. It's a great Cabernet that goes with a lot of different foods, like things, big grilled steak. You can do lamb. You can do anything with this. So, and it's great, and it's got all that dark fruit, the cassis, the plums, all that stuff that's great in a good Cabernet.
Oh, that's delicious.
Monogamy is actually one of my favorite entertaining Cabernets for when I have my girlfriends over, because I can just run down to Target and go pick it up. And also, I love Wine Sisters.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
they're near and
totally.
dear to my heart.
Yeah, totally.
But I love the story with every bottle. You know, every
They all
woman
have
can
a
relate
story.
to it. Yeah, so it just makes it that much more fun to enjoy.
And this is also, I also consider this a sexy wine. It's very smooth. It's very velvety. It has a fun name. It has a fun label. So it's fun to drink on Valentine's Day. I think it's a great, inexpensive, perfect red to drink.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's delicious. It's, again, a very balanced wine. It's
Actually, and you can tell me what you think about this meat pairing. I think that this would be good. There's a lot of olive and kind of herbal notes to it. So like an olive herbal crusted like lamb.
I was
lamb would be
we're
really good.
thinking on the same line. We are. I was thinking
yeah, you could. Yeah.
I like when I make a lamb loin, I like to smear just a little bit of Dijon mustard and then crust it with panko breadcrumbs, some rosemary, and then just sear it really quickly in the pan and then bake it really slowly because all the flavors, they're very few, but they marry beautifully.
Oh,
and
sounds delicious.
This would be very nice.
Yeah, there's definitely some rosemary in the dried herb component for this one as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I have these three, but I also have other Valentine's Day picks on my all parenting column. I have an article, Valentine's Day wine. So I have a few more choices for bubbles, for whites, and for reds. So anybody can go on to allparenting.com and check out all those other wines that I've talked about.
Excellent. Excellent. Wonderful. Well, this is awesome. This is really fun. You know, as we're clearing out, I don't know how many of you out there in the Twitterverse, web universe, etc., have really thought about it, but there are so many sexy wine terms.
Oh, we're going down that path.
Of course we are.
Can see me over here.
Among some of the favorites would be...
We didn't get fans when we started.
Thank you. Extended skin contact, for example. Anyone else have any favorites?
This has some skin contact.
That has some
the
skin
color.
Contact. Maceration. Sounds like something else, and we won't go there.
We just picked it up a notch.
Maceration. This is the X-rated wine show. You didn't know this.
It's
with
9 o'clock somewhere.
And with Girl Scouts. Not so sexy, but okay.
You know, legs. You know, what other things can we think of?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm stuck on maceration.
Okay. So while we're continuing to ponder on this, we're gonna work on emptying our glasses, actually.
Which is such a shame.
And we want you to send us.
We don't have bubbles.
No. Yeah. Oh, I didn't save the bubbles. I'm sorry. I'll have to have a report on the bubbles.
Thank you.
So we would love for you to tweet us what you think are the sexiest wine terms. Give it to us, baby. Give it to us.
Yes.
And you can do that at Toutsuite, again, with the hashtag 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock. You know, every time someone talks about the nose on a wine, I just think of two Eskimos rubbing noses. It's just
I think Eskimo kiss.
Yeah, Eskimo kiss.
Yeah, exactly. Berries. I suppose that could be considered
Berries
sexy.
makes me think of something else completely.
Crush. There
Crush.
we go. Yeah.
Crush. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I
cool.
know. It's all good.
Some crush.
So, you know, I know you've all been waiting for this. And I know you were all excited when the little girls in their little green outfits. I tried to dress like a Girl Scout today.
Perfect dress.
Yes.
And yes, it is.
Showed up last week. And do we have a question?
Well, I just want to say, you just called them out. There are lots of people watching, and they're tweeting how much they love it, but they're not asking questions.
We love
I have Raylan Wine, ask us a question. I have, look at all these people.
Why are you all being so shy? Come on, people.
We're Nicole Baudry.
Oh yeah, that's my friend Nicole.
All right, we just have tons of, and even a guy. There's a guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we know you. Now we know the list.
You're tweeting up a storm, but we want your question so we can
absolutely.
We want more sexy wine.
We want more things. You tell us what you think is sexy about wine. It can be a wine term. It could be anything. We want to hear it. Or how about this? Tell us your sexiest experience with wine. You know, we had Lydia Mondavi of 29 Cosmetics, and you guys were here for that show.
Yeah.
Lydia Mondavi of 29 Cosmetics said her husband told her that the only way to enjoy Moscato was out of the belly button of a loved one.
Oh.
So there you go. So we want to hear your sexy wine experience.
Absolutely.
Come on, people, tweet us.
I think I'm getting a little flushed.
Yeah,
Thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to share my sexy wine story, but y'all can share yours.
You can share one. Do you have one?
Just one?
Oh, oh, oh la la! Do tell.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm a mom.
Yes.
That's how I got into this mess. Started with a bottle of wine because no great story ever started over a salad, right?
Of course
it all started over alcohol.
Always.
So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Nice.
I really feel like I'm blushing because I'm
well, you are. You are sort of turning the color of your shirt right
Your
here.
matching shirt. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yay. Okay.
All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm dressed as a Girl Scout. I never have been a Girl Scout, but I figured for tonight it would be appropriate because
She's too naughty to have been a Girl Scout, obviously.
True. I was too much of a rebel. So yes. So as you can see, before us, we have a selection of some of the most popular, your all-time favorite Girl Scout cookies. Because Girl Scout cookies, I know. How exciting is that? Girl Scout cookies went on sale last week. Last week there was a National Girl Scout Cookie Day because they kicked off their sales. And as I said, I don't have a Girl Scout, nor have I ever been one, but I've certainly enjoyed my share of cookies. So we thought, how fun would it be to see if we can match some wines with the cookies? And to be frank, I don't know about you guys, because we all contributed wines here tonight, but I haven't tried the wines that I've contributed with the cookies. So
well, none of us have.
Oh, none of us have.
This is truly in a live experiment because we have no idea how this is going to turn out.
Right. Because what happens is I buy, and I really wish the Girl Scouts would sell cookies in bulk because perhaps I wouldn't run into this issue. But I tend to buy mass quantities of Girl Scout cookies, and then I run out in like a month, and then I count down. I go through withdrawals, and I shake, and I'm like, oh my God, 11 more months until they go on sale.
And then in the freezer, Christine.
But I know,
Well,
the thing is, I should have my husband hide them from me, because if I put them in the freezer where my kids can't see them, because I put them outside in the garage freezer.
You know where they are.
Where they won't go because it's too much of an effort. But I can get them because it's right next to my wine fridge. And I'm like, oh,
perfect.
Totally.
Okay.
Before I know
Fabulous.
it, a tube of Thin Mints are gone.
Oh, like that.
Totally. Like that.
We have a tweet that fits in really well here before you start your tasting, which
perfect.
I think is going to be
Thank
fascinating,
you.
and
Okay.
I can't wait because I can see the organization here of this fantastic tasting. But we do have a tweeter question.
Yes.
Tweeter question.
Okay.
And it is, the ladies are looking for sexy wine terms, but we want to hear yours. One for
I
each of you.
named some already. I gave 3 right off the bat. Okay. I feel like I've done my quota.
I said fresh.
Maceration, extended skin contact.
I know. See, that's I was going to say skin contact, and I'm going to pull that one as mine because it's this.
Okay.
Because it has skin contact. I can think of another one. Grape skin contact.
Okay. Any others?
I'm sticking with Crush.
Crush. Okay.
I'm still loving nose. And
Bouquet.
Bouquet.
Bouquet is a good one.
I just think of all the pretty
Bouquet
flowers.
is a really good one. Yeast, maybe not so much.
Only if it's associated with bread.
I told you I was never a Girl Scout.
Maybe I should have brought a bottle of
I'll be here till 6 people?
Yes. Promiscuous.
I should have brought a bottle of promiscuous for Tia.
There you go. Okay.
All right, let's get this party started. All right, so we're going to start with cookie number 1, which is the trefoils, which is a shortbread cookie, essentially. And so I need to pour myself some more here because we thought, and let me put these back.
Yeah, because I just brought red. So
We're
we can have red.
We're going to go ahead and, we are missing the Prosecco. We are missing the Prosecco, which is in the fridge. So let us get the Prosecco, but I'll pour some more rosé bubbles too. And we can see how they compare with, and if you have your cookies or just your wine, feel free to join in with us.
Right, drinks,
all right.
sweet cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that might be a little dangerous.
Oh my.
I wonder if we can kill all these boxes tonight.
We
Not
probably
the wine,
could.
but definitely the
Yeah, I
know.
Personal challenge.
Any thoughts on this pairing?
So this is the shortbread cookie. So this kind of goes with what I was saying. With this is perfect for a dessert like a strawberry shortcake and that kind of shortbread thing. You have the flavors are very complementary of each other. And I'm thinking the sweetness of this, but also with the strawberry, because this wine has a lot of strawberry in it.
It's a party now.
This makes me think strawberries and cream, tasting the two
Yes,
together.
it does.
So it kind of goes along with the strawberry.
It's actually not bad, people. It's not bad. Okay, I don't know where to put this carefully so that we don't spill it on everything, but okay, I'm gonna trade out here because we also have to try with this a Zonine Prosecco. Zonine is Italy's largest privately held wine company, actually. And this is a very easy to find wine at any of your Trader Joe's, local Trader Joe's. It's about $7 a bottle, so not particularly expensive, but 100% Prosecco grape. And basically, this wine is, low alcohol, 11%, pretty delicate, balanced. Prosecco tends to have a little bit of an almond characteristic. So it'll be in fruity, light and fruity. So it'll be interesting to try this. Got a bit more fizz on that. Oh, it's very light, huh? It's kind of palate cleansing. What do you think?
It brings out more vanilla to me.
It does. It makes the cookie taste more vanilla-like, if you can believe that.
The last one almost reminded me of one of the Mother's cookies.
Oh,
the cake frosting.
Yeah.
That's what that kind of reminded me of.
Elephant shape.
Exactly.
Yeah, the little sprinkles.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It does much more vanilla.
Yeah, and
Actually,
that's
what
more
I
vanilla
love.
to me. It's very contrasting.
The pairings, when you can pair a wine with a food or a dessert, and everything is elevated. Everything tastes better, both the wine and the food, because it complements or either as together or as opposites to elevate both. And that's what I love.
Right.
I really like
Same
this.
cookie, two different flavors.
Totally. So it looks like we've got two pairings that work that could taste very differently.
I
Like
think
gives the cookie a different profile.
We also could try the flower Chardonnay with this. It has kind of that lemon lime pear, like a little lemon meringue flavor to it. So that might also work. We already dumped it out, but that might also be another.
I did not dump mine out because we're going to go ahead and try it as well with the Savannah Smiles.
Yeah.
Which I've never personally had, but they're a lemon cookie with powdered sugar on them, as you can see. And so let's go ahead and even the Prosecco or the flower Chardonnay with the lemon cookie. Let's see how that goes. And if you have Girl Scout cookies out there, I hope you're trying them. Excuse me for eating and talking.
Yeah, and if you are eating Girl Scout cookies out there and you are drinking wine at home, tell us what you're drinking. As well.
Totally.
We want to know what you might be drinking.
Because what mom late at night doesn't raid her freezer for a thin mint in a glass of wine, when no one's looking?
Right.
Personally, I'm thin mint and bourbon. Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
It's like a chocolate mint julep in my mouth.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's delicious.
I like the flower Chardonnay with that.
I like
because it brings out the lemon of the wine and it brings out the lemon of the cookie.
And it also brings out that kind of lemon meringue note that I originally thought in this. It's more prominent with the cookie.
I get the meringue.
Absolutely.
Right, it's more prominent with the cookie. Yeah,
that's good.
Let's try the Prosecco with, I also think a Riesling.
Riesling, I know, and I thought about that too.
So,
I wanted to get a Riesling,
but that's just another idea for a sweet Riesling would go really well with these cookies.
I love how it brings out the almonds in the Prosecco.
It does. Again, it changes the flavor a little bit. Personally, I think I prefer the flower Chardonnay myself.
Then the Prosecco. Yeah, I prefer the Prosecco.
I prefer the Prosecco as well.
I prefer the Chardonnay.
I like the
people,
drier.
there's no right answer.
Yeah. I want it to pop and be gone.
I do, exactly. It's here.
And that's a great point that you just brought up, that I always tell people, because they ask me, I get a lot of food and wine questions. I try to find perfect food and wine pairs. That's what I write about. But the best food and wine pairing is what you like.
Exactly.
What you like to drink and what you like to eat. And if you like it, go for it.
Amen, sister.
Right?
Yes.
Do we have a question?
Do we have a question?
Yes. And this right here looks like a really good question, but I'm not sure you've gone to the monogamy yet, have you?
We're about to,
okay.
actually. So this is perfect. Hey, Rachel Voorhees, I can't find monogamy anymore. Can you recommend a similar option that I could get at Bevmo?
Oh, she's a Bevmo shopper.
Mm-hmm. And who is
and
this?
can't find monogamy.
Her name.
I think it's Nicole. Nicole.
Okay, Nicole.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole.
I'm trying to think of something that's similar, smooth and velvety. Let's pull up my list from Bevmo. You know, powder keg makes a good Cabernet, kind of in that same price point. Bevmo carries Gen 5 Cabernet that would also work. I'm trying to think, if you want to spend a little bit more, this is another wine that I talked about, is the Terra Valentine. It's from the Spring Mountain District in beautiful Cabernet.
Oh my God.
It's not going to be the same price point, but I just wanted to throw that out there because sometimes for Valentine's Day you want to maybe spend a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
But those three I think you could go with.
Excellent. Good. All right, so we're going to move on to our next cookie, and with the next cookie, and the monogamy is now over here, but we're pairing it with the Dulce de Leche, which is obviously a caramel cookie with caramel chips, and we'll see how that goes. Quiet while we're eating. Excuse us.
Hopefully no one hears us chewing.
When everyone goes silent, you know it's really good.
Exactly.
That's delicious.
Or someone's causing trouble somewhere.
Ooh, that is very nice. I'm actually quite surprised by that. I'm shocked by it.
It does actually
expecting.
work. I'm thinking more of a sherry, kind of like an Oloroso sherry with that, and
that
with a few other ones that we're going to do
Yes.
later. I think would be kind of a better pairing, but that actually works.
That really surprises me.
I'm actually surprised at how well it works, because I was worried that, I don't know, something about the dryness or the tannins and the red would really fight with the sweetness of the caramel cookie, but it doesn't.
But see, this is, the tannins are not like punch you in the face, tannins in this red. So,
Yes.
and that's probably the main reason that it works.
Yeah.
Normally this should not be, I'm going against what I'm saying. What can you say? Normally this cookie and this wine should not work together.
No, but I agree. I'm actually, again, this is a surprise. And, you know, we're not trying to just be like, everything is great, I don't think. But I mean, I think I'm actually shocked at, I wasn't expecting this to work.
I get a lot of coconut with a combination of the two.
Agreed.
Which surprises me.
So
I don't know. I mean,
I'm going to go back and try it with the flower Chardonnay as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Since we've got a caramel cookie, we'll see. Not that Chardonnay is particularly buttery or anything like that.
Yeah, but there's enough of that little creaminess, kind of like that meringue that I was talking about, that might work.
Actually, it's kind of nice too.
I didn't hear that.
You like it better with the red?
I like it much better with the red.
Yeah.
You and I are kind of like wine sisters over here.
We are. You guys have your palates are very
very
with one another.
I still like the Savannah smile with the Chardonnay.
Yeah, I do too.
That
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to dump now again and move on. And so, what are your favorite Girl Scout cookies? We want to hear. What is your all-time favorite? Go ahead and tweet us and let us know. I will tell you that my all-time, well, it's kind of a tie, which isn't fair, I know, but my all-time favorite is actually the Thin Mint. But I would say it's very closely, close to the Samoa as well. Which we haven't gotten to yet, but those are actually close race between the Thin Mint and the Samoa.
I agree.
But I would say the Thin Mint probably wins out by a way.
I would love to do a poll to find out. How many people the Thin Mint is their favorite?
Oh, it's everybody. I'm guessing it's the most popular.
It looks like Thin Mint. The last few have been Thin Mints are their favorite. And then I'm
who
not sure. This
says
last
Thin Mint
one
is your
here,
favorite?
do you recognize that? Because I don't know.
Oh, that's Raylan Wine. Yes, she's Raylan. Hi, Raylan. She says, I normally love, is it Bougie? I'm going
Bougie
to.
Sardon with mild cream custard-based sweets and chocolate.
Ooh,
that sounds incredible.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm sorry, my French is not good.
Where's DA when we need
thank
it?
you, Raylan. That's excellent. And I hear someone else saying, we've got Sherry Kuhn saying, if I only had my Thin Mints. Exactly.
Sherry,
You don't have to
go
be
find a
rushing
Girl
out to
Scout.
find a Girl Scout in a little green suit, before you know
Think
it.
of Tia.
They're at what, Brown Valley Market?
Just picture me and go look for them.
Locally, they're selling in front of Brown Valley Market, right? Isn't that where
Yeah,
they're
here, and they've been.
do they? That's where they go.
Yeah.
I live in Sacramento,
Mm-hmm.
which is like an hour away, and our cookies aren't coming out for a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
So I have to drive into town.
Okay. You've been stalking Girl Scouts?
No, I've been stocking cookies.
Oh, okay.
I'm a cookie starter. So,
all right.
I think ours came out on Sunday, and I've got them at the local Safeway.
I'm going to pour in here, okay?
Okay, yeah. Because I'm working on, I'm doing a series of Girl Scout cookie-inspired cocktails.
Oh, lovely.
Well.
Oh,
Good.
tell us about that.
Send them my way, and I'll share them on my page.
So it's on my All Parenting Palm as well. So
Okay.
there's only one that's up so far, but I'm doing them for a whole bunch of them. And I made a Thin Mint Martini, which is a vodka. It was really good. With crush the cookies in it. It was really good. The recipe's up on my website. And then the latest one that isn't up yet that I just did this week, I made a tag-along boozy. I called it the Tipsy Tag-along boozy milkshake.
And that's the other peanut butter cookie. I'm sure you all know that one. We didn't bring that peanut butter cookie. We brought the Do-si-dos tonight. But yeah, the tag-along has the chocolate on top and the creamy peanut butter in it.
And so I did chocolate ice cream. I put 4 of the cookies in it. So I'll tell you what else is in. You have to wait and read the recipe. But I put some cream de cocoa in it and some bourbon.
Oh,
awesome.
Oh, that's up your alley.
I am a bourbon girl.
All right, we've got 3 more cookies to go. So we have got the Do-si-do next, which is a peanut butter cookie.
Oh, it's a peanut butter. Oh,
and so I will say the Cocoa Bon wine, again, came from Trader Joe's. It's a red blend from California. I'll be honest, I did not have time to look up the blend, so I'm not sure what's in it. We can try to look on the back of the bottle.
Let me look really quickly.
But again, what caught my eye, and I was talking to the wine expert there, and they said, oh, I think this would be great with peanut butter, because I was thinking peanut butter and jelly. So
PB&J,
I was like, okay, PB&J, if we were going for the PB&J feel, what would we get? And so for PB&J, she said, oh, you have to try this Cocoa Bon, because it's relatively low alcohol. Again, it's like 12% alcohol. But she said it's really berry characteristics, cherry, that kind of thing. And she said that may work. So we're going to give it a try.
There's some raspberry in there as well. Like a raspberry jam.
I forgot how much I love this cookie.
This is, I
don't know if I ordered any of these.
It's like a peanut butter Oreo.
You better, don't they come to your door? I buy them at the Safeway. The neighborhood girls come. I buy some of them. I can't buy more.
I ordered a dozen boxes.
Yes. I like to spread my money around to different troops.
But I'll go and I'll buy more. Yeah. I forgot.
This is like PBJ's. This is delicious.
It is like having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, how nostalgic is that? Makes me feel like I'm young enough to sell Girl Scout cookies. Fantastic. Well, almost, but okay.
Delicious.
That works. That wine's really light too. So you can eat a lot of cookies and drink a lot of the wine with cookies.
I'm going to try that with the
If it's a particularly bad day with the kids.
Yeah. The shortbread is just, it's one of those that goes with so many things.
Absolutely. So do we like that? How do we rate the Cocoa Bon? What do we think?
I love
with
that
the peanut
combination.
butter.
It was a good combination.
It was a very good.
Wasn't my favorite of the night, personally.
I don't care for it so much on its own.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
But with the cookie,
I wouldn't drink that. Just
and this is great. This is one of my favorite Napa Valley Merlots. 20 rows. Love 20 rows. And what's great is this bottle is $20.
Oh, perfect.
Fantastic.
20 rows for $20.
20 rows, $20.
You get a whole bouquet and a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Oh.
There we go.
Let me.
You don't want to mix it.
We don't want to be promiscuous with our red blend.
No, we don't.
No, yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen any other sexy wine terms come in, or what your most sexy moment with wine. So we're still waiting on that. I'm waiting for who's going to offer us up a story. Who's brave enough? We're waiting for you.
Come on, there's people out there who've poured wine.
Well, you guys every time
wine poured on them. Come on.
Exactly. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? Again, remind me.
This is 20 rows. It's a 2011 Napa Valley Merlot.
Booze Hay who? Booze Sheridan. Yes.
What's Booze Sheridan?
What is
What about that?
That's a sexy wine term.
I've never heard of that.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
I think that's in German.
That
Every language has its romance.
Okay.
So Christine, what were you
this.
thinking with the Merlot?
With the Samoa or the Caramel Delights, I don't know. What is it?
So the Samoa.
Okay,
We're moving on to the Samoa.
I have
What
been
they're
like,
called now. I don't know what they're called
yeah.
now. Because the wine has these deep chocolate undertones to it and ripe black fruit. I'm not sure how to do with the
I
caramel.
took too big a bite of cookie.
How can you not? It's a Samoa. Oh my God, you ate half the cookie.
I did. She outed me. Did you see that?
Yeah, now we know.
She outed me.
The
cookie's only this
live
big.
webcam.
It's just a little cookie. It's okay.
Right.
But, you
I
know.
ate like half the cookie.
I'm thinking that you did a really nice job of holding back on eating the whole thing at once.
You know, and I was thinking with the peanut butter chocolate, like the tag along, or even the other one, that like a Madeira would go really nicely. But I think a Madeira would work with this.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So it would really work.
Excellent recommendation.
Oh.
And speaking of sherries, I want to do a show on sherry desperately. So if any of you out there are interested in sherry, I am super interested in sherry. So I'm trying to figure out a way to put this together. So we'll have it put together at some point, and we'll do a sherry tasting.
I love port. I'm tasting port. I'm wanting port with the Samoa. A tawny port.
I think so, because this isn't quite heavy enough. I'm thinking that this Merlot might pair better with the thin mint.
I think so too.
So, shall we move on?
I'm going to pour out my promiscuous and actually also move on
That's
to
monogamy.
Sorry.
Where's your monogamy? Your mind is in the gutter.
Yes.
You're right, it's the cocoa butter.
Yeah,
I messed up because they're not here now. So I'm going to pour the grape part as well.
She's thinking about multiple partners. That's really the bigger picture here.
Don't tell my husband. Or do tell my husband. It could be a good Valentine's Day.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, more sexy wine terms for you people. Full-bodied.
I don't think anybody can outdo you with sexy wine terms.
You're on a roll tonight.
You have the
Lush.
market.
Have we had a lush wine tonight?
Okay.
No, not yet.
We have grape heart.
Let's try grape. Maybe grape heart will be our lush wine.
This is from Susan Valley.
Ooh, eucalyptus.
Yeah, and it's a pure cab.
For sure.
This is their inaugural vintage of 2010.
The eucalyptus in this, which we were talking about earlier, that this wine had,
with the thin mint.
The thin mint.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's try it.
Totally.
Oh,
I think. What do you think?
It works for those green notes, but still port.
Port, which we haven't opened yet, which we will.
Oh, we have port?
We do. We have a little bottle of port.
While you guys are sipping and chewing, I'm just going to say, you know what? Most of the tweets are just compliments.
Oh.
And you guys are the best. The best. They're actually very, very nice. And I love you. That's appropriate. I mean, it's appropriate on Twitter, but I mean, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, everyone's in love with you. Each of you has a stalker now.
That's kind of comes with the territory, right?
Yeah. I know. I'll just say, and they're all female. So.
Oh,
We love you. There's a guy in there too. But anyway,
girl power.
So this is the latest one. My girl, Rachel Voorhees. He never ceases to amaze me. So knowledgeable, gorgeous, and witty.
Oh, who wrote that?
We love you. I'll tell you later.
Oh, that is sweet. That is sweet.
You'll have to follow her if you aren't. And then it's been retweeted a ton of times. And then, you know, the boozy Sheridan, that's what they're saying. Booze, hey, Sheridan. Booze. That's a wine, sexy wine term.
Okay.
Phonetically.
Okay. All right.
And we'll work on that and get back
We're going to
to
have to figure that out. Yeah, I don't know that one.
And people want the caramel cookie, and other people are saying that they cannot find a Girl Scout. So how do they find the Girl Scout cookie?
So literally, I'll tell you how I did it. This is how I got all of these Girl Scout cookies for tonight.
Ooh.
I went on to the Girl Scout website. Simple as that. And they have a little section that says find a cookie or something like that. So you literally go in there, put in your zip code. And when you put in your zip code, it'll pop up a whole list of all the locations and times where your local Girl Scouts will be selling cookies. And so literally that's what I did, and that's how I found the cookies for tonight. So that's how you can get your cookies too. Shout out to the Girl Scouts. Yay. We're not taking royalties, but go for it. Hope to make a lot of money. And
we will work for cookies.
We will work for cookies.
And,
for wine.
I want to ask if it's possible if we can get Rachel back to make those cocktails when Sacramento has their delivery.
Yeah,
possibly.
I will.
Yeah. Okay, I'll model cookies for you.
We actually don't need actual Girl Scout cookies to have your cocktails.
By the way, this is Susan Quinn, another one of the main women behind Toutsuite, and one of our hosts here on 5 o'clock, and she's doing a great job helping us behind the scenes, keeping us up to date with all of you. So, thank you.
She is the
She's a producer. Come on.
And just to remind you, this is a show where we don't have any rules. You join, you sit at the table with us, and just log in with your webcam, and we're going to take you along the ride with us. So,
absolutely. So we are a little over, but we're going to hold out a little bit longer because we've got port.
We have port.
Yeah, we have no rules.
I know.
We have to try the port.
Okay, great.
So we're going to have to dump a wine.
But I'm stuck on this grape part because I love this wine.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so I tried, what's the little peanut butter cookie called? The little
Do-si-do.
The do-si-do. I like it with the do-si-do.
Okay.
Because while y'all were chatting, I went around and I took nibbles of all the cookies.
You will not be deterred.
You just want to finish it.
This is the Cabernet that you brought, right?
Mm-hmm. I brought the Cab and the Merlot.
Ooh, I do like it. Mm-hmm. I
like
agree.
it. Yeah, much more than the Thin Mint.
And I have to say, Grape Heart, since we were talking Valentine's Day, Grape Heart is would be a great wine for Valentine's Day. Do they do anything like what? Where does the name come from?
Okay, it's a husband and wife who are the proprietors of the brand, and they're in Susan Valley, which is like 15 minutes from here. Technically part of the Napa Valley, and a lot of Napa Valley grapes are actually sourced from Susan. And the husband is a heart surgeon, thus Grape Heart. And the wife, Isabel, is the managing partner of the winery, and she's also a mother. Well, they're parents of 3, but I'll say mother of 3. So of course I love her because she's running, a vineyard and taking care of her kids. And they actually donate 20% of their proceeds to a women's heart charity called Sister to Sister.
Very cool.
So
they're
very passionate about heart charities, and obviously, Ramsey, the husband, that's his life work.
Right.
He's a heart surgeon. So I just love connecting with brands that have such a good, genuine story.
Absolutely.
And they have great wine, So,
and authentic too, an authentic story, like where it's, a lot of people want to jump on the charitable bandwagon, but sometimes it's not coming from the heart. And in this case, it sounds like it's literally coming from the heart. Like
absolutely. And it's appropriate for Valentine's Day because Grape Heart, and February is Heart Health Month.
And what's the price point on this wine?
This is more of a special occasion wine. It runs $60 a bottle.
Okay, wonderful.
But you also have that for Valentine's Day.
Tomorrow is a special occasion.
With a heart connection.
Yes, exactly.
Make a heart warm, support a heart. I like that.
Yeah. And heart health is so important for women too. I mean, it's something we so take for granted, but God bless it. Wine, hopefully in moderation, will help us with our heart health as well. So that's very important.
My personal form of insurance.
Yes, and Girl Scout cookies hopefully help with that too.
Celine, will you pass me the port?
Absolutely having those in abundance.
Perfect. Yes, please do.
Yeah. Great Graham, one of my all-time
Graham 6 grapes.
Love this.
Ports. This is from Portugal, from the Douro Valley, and which is northern Portugal, for those of you who aren't aware. And they call this a big-hearted wine. Is actually how they describe it.
Connection.
Exactly. That's the connection there for Valentine's Day. So we thought this might be a great pairing with our Thin Mints or our Samoas. Again, it features many of the stars of the port region. Touriga Franca, Touriga Nacional, Tinta Roriz, Tinta Barroca, if I'm saying that correctly. Some of the great port varieties that we're aware of.
That's a nice nose.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I'm so in my happy place.
Okay, this.
Thin mint.
Thin mint.
Thin mint.
Oh, delicious.
Oh, totally. Complete winner.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Cheers,
Perfect.
ladies.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Well, and another thing to keep in mind too when pairing wine with sweets is that the wine should always be sweeter than food.
Yes.
And that's kind of, I mean, we haven't done that as much here, but because sometimes it doesn't have to be, but that's kind of a general rule to keep in mind. And this works with this because you have the kind of mint undertone of this, where in this wine it's sweeter.
Yes.
Totally.
So that's why it works. Nice.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a ton of fun, you guys. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
we're going to stay here all night and eat all the cookies.
And talk sexy wine terms and be promiscuous.
Yeah.
Even if it's monogamous.
It just got interesting.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight at Toot Social at 5 o'clock somewhere. And I hope you'll come again next week, next Wednesday for Wine Wednesday for more fun. But we're also on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And so every night has a different topic. It could be tech, it could be wine, it could be, you know, cocktails, film, you name it. And we have a food,
Friday,
of course. Foodie Friday tomorrow.
Foodie Friday.
This lady right here.
Yeah.
Foodie Friday. I have a master gardener who is a longtime organic gardener coming on with some very new to me anyway, fruits, vegetables, citrus, and some really fun tips for some new foods, some new cocktails. Yeah.
Perfect.
So join us on Friday.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We'd love it. So cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Wine Wednesday. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
There you are. Yeah, here's the girl power. Girl power.
Ladies' night.